It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Hello, and welcome to the Max Sports. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for
To the Max Sports, I hear. Let's see if
To the Max Sports.
See if I can hit him.
Ooh, we're training him well.
Right in the
One-eyed
mouth.
Jack may be back later with his picks.
Right in the mouth. Right in the kisser.
Right in
the kisser.
One-eyed Jack. There you go. So, Bob, we went 4-1 in our picks.
We both went 4-1. It was a pretty good week, huh?
Yeah, pretty good week for betting against the spread in primetime games. That leaves you at a sterling 33-26 for the year.
Yep, you could have been undefeated if you hadn't doubted my boys.
So counting the juice you would have lost if you were actually placing wagers, you'd be about dead even for the year, which I can't emphasize enough how hard that is. I'm scratching my way back. I'm 25-26.
Right there near Mount 500. You can see the summit.
I can see the promised land.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'll be allowed in. So I went 1-1 on my locks. Pittsburgh looked very poor.
Pittsburgh has issues. I don't know. I think they're going to lose their streak of no losing season under Mike Tomlin. It's at
one or the other. My other lock of the week, Atlanta. That coach should definitely lose his job. He just doesn't put together a game plan for a bad quarterback. And Ritter threw another interception in the red zone. And when you're losing to the Panthers, and I'm talking about the Atlanta Falcons, losing to the Panthers when you're in contention, actually not in contention at the time, playing for first in that sorry division, that includes the Saints.
That was an ugly game. It was
just pitiful.
There was 6 people in the stands at the end of that game.
They showed that. They said tickets were going for as low as $5.
You couldn't have paid me to sit in that stadium. I mean, 1, the teams were abysmal. 2, I ain't sitting in the rain.
If I could sneak in maybe one of the press box deals and sitting there.
And there was rain up and down the entire Eastern Seaboard this past week, and it was some nasty games.
Definitely some football weather.
Yeah. So what'd you think of the Cowboys showing?
I think the Cowboys told us who they were, and anyone who's delusional enough, and you mentioned a couple weeks ago, to think they're going to go 3 games on the road and win is get off the proverbial crack pipe, as Cornel West once said.
Yeah, they needed to win that division, and it doesn't look good because the Eagles are going Giants, Cardinals, Giants for their final 3. The Cowboys, this week, they get the Dolphins. Dolphins need to win, and the Dolphins are at home. And the Dolphins have a good run offense, and Cowboys don't do good against a run.
But the Dolphins are another perennial team that folds the tent in December for whatever reason.
And they've historically, lately have been bad against good teams as well. So this is kind of 2 teams that don't perform particularly well against good teams playing good teams. We're going to see which immovable force hits which unstoppable barrier.
Yeah, barrier. This will be a real telling of which team who almost are microcosms of each other to see who actually steps up. And that should be one of the more interesting games of the week.
I don't know. If I look at games from the perspective of who I think is really playing for something, the Cowboys honestly really aren't playing for anything. The Cowboys need to win out, and even if they win out, the Eagles win out, and they lose the division anyway. So they got to hope that the Eagles lose and win out. I don't think it's going to happen. So they're locked into a wild card. So who cares? The Dolphins, on the other hand, are playing for home field advantage, and home field advantage in the AFC is going to mean something.
True.
So,
but I think at the end of the day, too, Dallas is also playing for getting over that hurdle of beating a decent team on the road, which they, to your point a couple weeks ago, they're going to have to do to get any Super Bowl aspirations. Is McCarthy gone if he loses the first round of the playoffs?
Yes.
Well, one head fell that we predicted out in San Diego.
Oh, Staley, yeah.
After that
63-21.
Yeah.
63.
They waited to the next day. I was surprised they even told him, we'll put you on another plane.
Back in the day, in the early days of like computer games and computer football games, I played a text football game, and I was able to go in and modify the stats of my players, where my players were unstoppable. And 63 was even hard. It was hard to get with a team that was unstoppable. Chargers, how do you give up 63 to the Raiders?
Yeah. It's insanity. But sometimes you get these offensive wonderkins, these geniuses, and, I'm sure he's going to land somewhere and he'll be a decent offensive coordinator. Are you listening, Josh Daniels? But you put him in that head coaching position where they actually have to manage more than just, a segment of the game, and they fold like a cheap tent. That guy had way too much talent with a really good quarterback, really good receivers, really good running back, and some star power on the defensive end, even though they didn't show it.
Yeah.
And, there's just guys out there that, for whatever reason, when it comes to their opportunity to rise to the top, just don't do it. And him and Josh McDaniels are two guys that come to mind.
No, absolutely. And the Chargers are up against the buzzsaw this weekend. They're playing the Bills at home.
I got to thinking about what you had said last week. It's starting to make sense. This is probably the team where there's going to be a coach opening where you have the pieces in place. You're not rebuilding, which I think would definitely pique Belichick's interest.
We'll see. We'll see.
Or your boy.
Or Harbaugh. I mean, the reports out of Ann Arbor is that he's being offered a $55 million extension to stay in Michigan, despite the fact that he's probably going to sit a few more games under suspension because the NCAA has just started their level 1 investigation for his recruiting violations during COVID.
Yeah. There was one coaching carousel team I'd probably add. I think Art Smith, is it Atlanta? Is that he's got to go. This guy just can't manage an offense that has really some talented players. You've got London Drake. You've got Kyle Pitts. Yes, you have some quarterback problems, definitely, with Heineke and then this Ritter kid. Capable defense, but this team just has, and two quality running backs. And he's just, how does Bijan Robinson get 8 touches? How does he get 8 touches in a sloppy football game, and you're putting the game on Ritter's back to lose it again?
I don't know. And I mean, there are times when you have to modify what you're doing, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. I look at Buffalo, who absolutely dismantled the Cowboys. Josh Allen had 8 completions the whole entire game. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Who is one of the better quarterbacks, quite frankly, in the NFL right now. But that was an ugly game. And
to Buffalo's point, if you give Josh Allen 25 throws, he's capable of throwing 2 interceptions.
Well, that's the thing. And I heard some of the talking heads talk about this, about Allen. It's like, Josh Allen can win you the game. He can. He has that level of, artistry. But let's engineer an offense where we don't always put it on his back. We put it on his back when we need him to, but we don't always do it, because that seems to have been the Bills' problem.
Yeah,
is they've been relying on Josh Allen.
Which is why I love a guy like Zach Taylor. I mean, he's putting that Cincinnati quarterback in positions where he's not asking him to do too much. He's giving him bubble screens and things to kind of build his confidence as the game goes along.
Yeah.
Now the Bengals, again, have scratched their way out of what appeared to be a lost season, but now Chase is out. Jamar Chase is ruled out. And that just may be too much to overcome.
There is an absolute log jam at 8-6 in the AFC.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, you have the Buffalo Bills 8-6, and these are just teams that aren't leading their division. Cleveland Browns 9-5, Bengals 8-6. Not even discounting the Steelers 7-7. Jacksonville Jaguars lead the South at 8-6. You have the Colts and the Texans both at 8-6 right behind it. And in the West, you have the Broncos at 7-7. We're 3 weeks out, and we don't know what's happening in the AFC.
And so many of those teams that you mentioned are sitting at 8-6 are riddled with injuries. The Browns, Houston, the Bengals. So we're going to see who next man up is on one of these teams, and someone's going to surprise and get in it.
Yep, absolutely.
Why don't we, I know this is kind of abbreviated. We'll probably do a show next week. We don't want to do this too long, but why don't we look at the picks? I know we got some fun Saturday games coming along. We got tonight's game.
Yeah, we have tonight's game. We have the Saints on the road at the Rams in SoFi. The Rams are favored by 4.
I'm going to take the Rams. Derek Carr's 0-3 against the Raiders when he's actually had to play against them. Derek Carr.
Okay.
And, you know, I was looking at some numbers, and I just think this game sets up well for the Rams, who, to me, seem to be trending on the upside.
There are a lot of people that are talking that the Rams are a team that you don't want in the playoffs because they can do weird things in one game, and I kind of agree with that.
And as long as Stafford's there, you know, to pitch the ball to Puka Nacua, did I say that right? Coolest name in football, and Cooper Kupp, and
you know, the NFC West, I've said this all season long. The NFC West is sneaky good. You have the Seahawks and the Rams both at 7-7, but they're not set. I think they're better than their records indicate.
Now, having said that, this is my what I call fantasy football Thursday pick. I only do it for you guys that play fantasy football. I would start Kamara in this game, Alvin Kamara. The Rams have shown a propensity to give up some runs. I think he could have a big game.
Some runs? Did we go back into in season for baseball?
Yards.
Okay.
Yeah, rushing yards. When I say yards, what did I say?
You said runs.
Runs. Oh, well.
Okay.
Runs.
Okay.
Okay, let's just say runs.
Fair enough.
He'll get 15 to 17 runs.
Touches, yeah.
And he should get 60 to 75 yards, maybe a touchdown or two. The +4 scares me a little bit, but I think offensive power-wise, at home, I'd be willing to give up those points. Give me the Rams +4.
And if I would allow that line to go. I'd give more for a bigger payoff because I really think the Rams win this by a possession and a half. This is a 10-point or more game by the Rams.
Well, you called that Detroit possession or a half more last week.
Oh, man.
So that was a good call.
Well, the Lions at home are nasty.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
I don't know. After that Green Bay debacle, that's still that vision on Thanksgiving of getting smoked by Green Bay still hasn't left my psyche. But I'm going to go ahead and I've actually got them as I want to. Well, I'll talk about my locks of the week here.
What's really weird to see is some of these teams, because it's a recurring theme for me on some of these teams where I'm saying, you know, they're really nasty at home and on the road they're beatable. You look at the Dolphins, you look at the Lions, you kind of look a little bit at the Eagles, you definitely look at the Cowboys. There's a lot of teams that have issues on the road, and I was listening to Orlovsky on Get Up this morning. He was talking about, you know, how your cadence changes as a quarterback, and specifically with Prescott is he can't do the things that he's good at home. And I'm going to say it again, at least with respect to the Cowboys, it's going to come down to coaching. And if you can't win on the road, you're not a good coach, and I really don't care about you anymore. So, okay. So
this MVP talk of Prescott kind of fell off the charts.
No. Right now, I think it's a 2-horse race. I think it's Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. You know, I got to give the nod to
Jackson.
I got to give the nod to McCaffrey myself, but
so does Purdy. Purdy's given the nod to McCaffrey. Yeah. So
I mean, without McCaffrey, the 49ers would be. I mean, this guy is just crazy. Crazy good.
I think that argument is valid. Because I think the 49ers are just as good, at least from a win-loss perspective, with Darnold under center as they are with Purdy.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're winning as big.
Yeah.
But they are winning because they have too many damn weapons. Okay, moving to Saturday. You have the Bills on the road going east to west at SoFi, visiting the Chargers, giving up 12 points.
So here's my deal, and I'm just going to use the new coach, win-win for the new Gipper. It seems like whenever teams make in-season coaching changes, before they fall back down to earth, they play on that emotional high. Give me the Chargers plus 12, which a Buffalo team that hasn't really done incredibly well on the road.
They haven't done incredibly on the road. I do think the Bills win this game. The number of points scares me. If they're going to do a run-first offense like they did this past weekend, perhaps, but they trounced the Cowboys at home. I don't know. I'm going to go with you and do the Chargers, and hopefully this is a 10-point game.
Yeah. This is a game I wouldn't touch with your counterfeit money, Bob.
Nope. I wish I had counterfeit money. Counterfeit money spends, man. Okay, Sunday night. Why they didn't flex, I don't know. Let's look at all the other games on Sunday we could have flexed. I don't know. Lions, Vikings, Browns, Texans. Browns-Texans would have been a good game to flex. Cowboys,
well, the
Dolphins.
problem is Stroud's probably out, and there's no marquee quarterback. Who's this game that you're sad about?
Patriots at the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos are contending, but I don't really care about the Patriots.
No, I agree with that, and I think it's just now we're just talking fan-based action, not your general fan like us that could care less about this game.
The Broncos are only laying 6.5. The book only has them up by 6.5.
The Patriots have a capable defense. The problem is they're on the field for like 40 minutes a game.
And this is in Denver. This is in Denver. So what are you doing?
What's the line?
6.5.
I mean, the Patriots are abysmal. Give me the Broncos. I'm not a huge fan of this, but yeah.
Okay, final game. We're going to get...
Who do you like in that one?
We're getting 3 games on Christmas Day.
What do you like in the Broncos game?
Oh, I'm taking the Broncos.
Yeah. We haven't differed on anything yet.
We have 2 duds as you're opening up your Christmas presents. If you're opening up your Christmas presents at noon, you can put the Raiders and Chiefs on the background because the Chiefs are going to kill them. Chiefs are favored by 10 at home. That's not going to be a game. Then you have the Giants and the Eagles.
Did they beat them earlier in the year?
I really don't care. The Chiefs are destroying the Raiders. Then you have the Eagles at home against the Giants in a get good game for the Eagles. Giants and Devito are going to get destroyed. Did you hear the story from Devito this week in the pizza place?
Yeah, they fired Slimey. Yes, they fired Slimey. Well, did you hear why?
Yeah. Once they won, he upped the fee and said, well, we didn't have a contract. I can up the fee. And they're like, it's a pizza place, dude.
Yeah, a little pizzeria joint. But did you hear what Devito did?
Devito did the right thing. He went there for free and just did it. Good for Devito. Good for Devito.
Slimey tried to get Slicky Wicky and get more of a taste, so to speak. And
very true.
Now he's out of a job.
Very true. So now the real game that we're going to pick, this game is in Levi Stadium in San Francisco. The Ravens on the road at the 49ers.
Are those other games not pickable Saturday games? Are they?
No, I mean, they're not primetime games.
Okay,
I just wanted to give a preview of Christmas Day for people.
Gotcha.
Because for the Giants-Eagles game, I'm going to go see a movie. I'm going to go see Boys in the Boat.
Is that the primetime game?
No, the primetime game is the Ravens at the 49ers.
Oh, wow. What a game.
This is the first. We very rarely get the 2 leading teams from each conference playing this late in the season.
And they're playing
both 11-3. They're in San Francisco.
What's the line about
49ers favored by 5.
You know, I'm going to take the points just because, and hope, cross my fingers that Lamar doesn't do something stupid in the red zone or try to overextend a play, which he has a tendency to do. And the Ravens have a really good defense, or you'd say, Drew, so the 49ers. So all things being said and equal, these are 2 pretty equal teams on paper. And if you're going to give me 5 points, I'll take the 5.
As a homer, I'm going to yell at you and tell you these are not equal teams on paper. 49ers have more weapons on offense. They do have a really good defense. I think they can handle Lamar and what Lamar has for weapons. I don't think they stack up weapon-wise. I think this is a light line. I would actually pay to give up more points and get more of a return, because I think this is going to be a game. I think this is at least a touchdown.
I think this game comes down to one person in the entire stadium, Brock Purdy. And if Baltimore coaxes him into making one of those ill-advised mistakes, which you had some concerns about earlier in the year,
in the season, this
is a test against a really good defense to see what Brock Purdy has to offer. It's funny because 6 months ago, what were we talking about? Lamar, was he even going to be a Colt? Was he even going to be a Raven? Was he, this and that? And he's proved worth his weight in the contract that he signed. So.
No, my hat's off to Lamar Jackson. He has definitely rounded out to be a top-level quarterback in all aspects of the game. Mm-hmm. Really, really seems to be a really good guy as well. Hasn't had any off-field problems. Really good guy. So, my hat's off to Lamar Jackson. I think he's probably in the running right now for MVP. But
I think I said Lamar Jackson earlier. I may have messed up his name. Yeah. If he plays the way Lamar is capable of playing, and he can beat you with his feet, very easily.
I still don't think if the Ravens are able to kick the 49ers off their rhythm, then yes, this game is close. But if the 49ers get into rhythm like halfway through the first quarter and are cooking on offense, this game is going to be another runaway. It's going to be another runaway.
Not with that Baltimore defense, but this will be a fun game. This is a game that I would definitely be watching.
Oh no, everyone's going to be watching. Yeah, this is a Monday night. This is, end your Christmas day after you've had your Christmas meal and you're fat, dumb, and snoozing. Get your nap in before 7:00 Central, and then go watch this game, because this is going to be a barn burner.
Bob, I got my locks, and I'll see what you think. First lock, I like Houston giving 2.5 against Cleveland. Cleveland pulled their rabbit.
Ooh.
Cleveland pulled the proverbial rabbit out of their bunghole last week. How they won that game, I have no idea. For that matter, how Houston won their game, I have no idea.
Well, Houston was pissed off that the Titans were wearing Oilers jerseys.
I do like Singletary to step up in this game, have a big game for Houston. They're going to need that. Cleveland has trended down a little bit on a very good defense, but they shown a propensity, a la a couple games, to give up some runs. So I think in another one of these tight games, I think Flacco comes back down to earth as he's kind of been doing here the last couple of games.
I don't know. You could say that D'Amico is more of a defensive-minded coach, and that's where he's going to be. But I don't know. The Browns are really fighting for something, and the Browns are 9-5. This is a good squad. It's a good squad with a really good defense.
I understand they got a veteran quarterback now who's been there and done that. But I just think, mentioning D'Amico Ryans, I think he'll dial up a scheme to put a lot of pressure on Flacco.
Okay,
and that's what I got to hope.
Take your Texans. If you force me to bet on this game, I'd bet the other way.
All right. But that's one of my locks.
Okay.
Houston -2.5.
What's the other one?
Detroit -4 against Minnesota. Now, Minnesota's got a defense that's really doing well. Their tight end, who I really like, Hawkins something.
Do you want 3.5? I'm seeing it at 3.5.
And it's gone down. Yeah. Played it. I think I got it at 4, but play Detroit at 3.5 and hope they don't play like they did against Green Bay on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Lions have something to play for. They're actually 5-2 on the road this season. I don't know who those opponents are, but the Lions are in the hunt right now if the 49ers and the Eagles continue to stumble for home field. I just don't think they're going to get it.
But talk about Minnesota resurrecting themselves from the dead. And last week, that game against Cincinnati, that may have just broke their hearts. They climbed out of an 0-4 start, got to...
There's no way they should have let the Bengals back in that game. That was bad.
And that may be the one that kind of just breaks their heart and sets them off on a losing streak. I'm hoping for it. I think Detroit only giving up 3.5 as the visiting team is a good play. That's my other lock, Bob.
Okay. I think I would go with you on that one.
We got some college bowl games. I know there's one going off. I did take South Florida against Syracuse.
You played
That's
what?
Today.
That's the, which game is that? That's the weird, Raycom weird. Let's pull that up.
I don't even know the names of these silly games anymore.
Oh, it's the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl.
Yeah, everyone's heard of that. I like to be in Boca right now.
Well, I mean, UTSA laid a beat down on Marshall in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. My God.
Yeah. The Mickey Mouse and Goofy Bowl was next.
No, there's one really, really bad.
Well, every year there's a terrible one.
The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That one's always a good one. Around.
So what's your philosophy on bowl games?
I don't care. Go watch a movie. That's my philosophy.
There's so many that sit out for good reason. If I'm a player that's looking at a big NFL contract, being a first, second, or third round pick, I'm probably sitting it out. I mean, hell, even if I'm going to be, the only way I probably play is if I think I'm fifth and beyond, or maybe fourth round and beyond, and I can move up my draft stock by playing well.
If it's all about draft for me, I don't think anyone lower than a second rounder should be setting out. I think if you're a projected third rounder and lower, you should be playing. That's my own feeling.
You think you should be playing?
Yeah, I think you should be playing. If you're a first or second rounder, maybe lay out.
Tell Slimey, your agent that's looking to make millions of dollars off you, to play a meaningless bowl game, which you've already claimed are meaningless, and ruin your career by ripping an Achilles and you're projected to be the second round draft pick.
The flip side of that is, if you have a lot of kids on the other side that are sitting out because they're in the transfer portal because of transfer portal timing, then you're playing against a second-rate defense if you're an offensive guy, or possibly a second-rate offense if you're a defensive guy. You have the potential to shine and maybe increase your stock and move from the fourth to the third round, or the third to the second round.
It's not going to be that big of a pay increase. I'm definitely, if I'm a first rounder, I'm sitting this thing out. But
yeah, I mean, you look at the LSU quarterback. The LSU quarterback is sitting out. No, it's they're laying evidence to my contention that these games are meaningless, absolutely meaningless.
Well, one thing we promise our listeners and viewers, we will never sit out.
I don't know.
We will always be here for you.
Well, we were thinking about sitting out next week, so
I got nothing to do next week. So, Bob, we'll do our big picks next week in college, the bowl games, the Texas-Washington. We'll do the Alabama-Michigan. That should be fun. Let's unveil our picks next week. We'll get together, do a short show.
Yeah, Texas-Washington will be interesting. Wrap this up? Yeah. No, I think we're good. Everyone have a happy holiday, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your weekend. Our Jewish friends finished up Hanukkah, so now they can celebrate Christmas trees with us. Yeah. Though I was joking with someone that nothing says the birth of Jesus Christ more than a Christmas tree.
Well, I will say this, as a Christian, this is an important time of the year for me. I give all my blessings to God, and blessings undeserved, and Jesus Christ is my Savior and Lord and witness. And other than that, I respect, if you got Kwanzaa, enjoy your Kwanzaa. If you got Happy Hanukkah, enjoy whatever holiday you celebrate.
Yep.
I will be celebrating Christmas, and I don't have a tree in my house, not because I'm against trees, just because we ain't got room in our freaking house for a tree right now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, everyone have a good weekend. Enjoy 4 days of football.
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
Until next week, OH.
And we're out.
IO.